Hello, comrades! August 8th is Severe Myalgic Encaphalomyelitis Awareness Day, and that felt like a call to action to me specifically. Hi, I'm Alice, and I have moderate to severe myalgic encephalomyelitis. Myalgic encephalomyelitis, also known as chronic fatigue syndrome, is a chronic, relapsing, remitting immunoneurological condition that affects 17 to 24 million people worldwide. Relapsing remitting means that the symptoms can vary in severity, sometimes getting better or worse for extended periods of time. Immunoneurological means that the immune and nervous systems are most affected by this condition. While many of the symptoms overlap with other conditions such as fibromyalgia, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, and mast cell activation syndrome, one symptom is unique: post-exertion malaise. Post-exertion malaise is the worsening of symptoms following even minor physical or mental exertion, with symptoms typically worsening 12 to 48 hours after activity and lasting for days or even weeks. Mild ME is when symptoms allow the sufferer to complete work or school, but at the expense of other activities. Moderate ME is when a person is housebound and requires mobility aids. Severe ME is when a person is bedbound, requires a wheelchair, and relies on carers. People with severe ME score lower on quality of life scales than people with multiple sclerosis or strokes. I have difficulty leaving the house, and if there will be any prolonged standing or walking, I need a wheelchair. My partner helps me with food preparation and medication, and with chores and taking care of our living space. When I do overdo it and have a PEM flare-up, I move clearly into the severe ME category, and generally am only able to leave the bed to use the toilet. You might be wondering how I got here. When I was 11, I got sick and never got better. Despite the initial disease being gone and my blood work returning to normal, I was not well. I was tired and achy all the time. Before I became ill, I used to do dance and karate classes after school 2 to 4 times a week and want to see my friends on the weekends. Afterwards, I didn't even have the energy to make it through a full day of school. After about 3 classes, I would need to go home and rest in bed for hours. After almost a year of testing for what seemed like everything, chronic fatigue syndrome was suggested. It has been 22 years. In my teens, I was well enough to only have mild ME, but since I've left college, I've always fallen into the categories of moderate to severe ME. I have never been able to have a job, even part-time. By the time I was 15, it was clear to my family that having a normal job or career would be impossible. I am making my first video on Severe ME Awareness Day because of the lack of representation I see on YouTube. There are informative videos by doctors and channels dedicated to vlogging with ME, but where are the people like me? We can't be what we can't see, and when I was an awkward queer preteen with ME, the only people I saw were advocates in bland t-shirts. I wondered, was ME going to rob me of fashion and performance and theater? Would I be too fatigued to pursue beauty? I wish I had seen the kinds of people I would become friends with through alternative subcultures and social media who have ME. I am making this video because I love LeftTube and video essays, but I often find their engagement with disability theory lacking. It is a disservice to try to build a better future without considering the needs of 20% of humanity. I love the video essayists of YouTube, but apparently they have all been blessed with able bodies. Where are the disabled queers, shit posters, communist cat girls, blue-haired pronouns in bio? I want to learn about philosophy and leftist theory with an active inclusion of disability. I want to see how disabled people fit into communist and anarchist utopias. I want to hear disability theory applied to climate change. I haven't been able to find much of that, and I'm faced with the terrifying realization that I might have to do it myself. Hearing about ME, you might be noticing a resemblance to long COVID. The link between long COVID and ME is the subject of debate and research right now. People with long COVID can at least rely on the strategies developed by people with ME to help them adjust to their new normal. With millions of newly disabled people by COVID, disability rights will become more important than ever. Disabled people are the most at risk from climate change and the extreme weather that it causes. And government and emergency plans do not account for our numbers or our need. More people are becoming disabled by late-stage capitalism's greed, and we must find them and show them community. We must save each other with the values of interdependence and empathy that the disabled community has taught me. So here I am making this video. My name's Alice. I'm an artist, an animal rescuer, and a disability rights advocate. You can see my art at alicegardnerbates.art and keep up with me on Instagram at Gritty Surrealism. I do a politics stream on Twitch with my friend Mary called Log Off, where a former Anon and former Goon talk about internet politics and culture every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Twitch.com/logoffpod. There's nothing like being housebound or bedbound to make you a new kind of terminally online.